guys, good afternoon. And today once again we're doing something a little bit different. So here is our remit. Multiple drop down boxes which filter down options in the following order. Product configuration, color option. Some products only have access to certain configurations and colors. I would like to be able to have dynamic lists that change as products change. Keep in mind that the color options might change in time or new ones might be added. It needs to be maintainable with some ease if possible. Possibly some sort of list ledger which can be maintained. Well, that isn't really a normal request in Unreal Engine 5, or Unreal Engine for that matter, or any game engine for that matter. What this is basically they're asking for a relational database, okay, with basically a Unreal Engine front end. Now, it just so happens that I've been doing this for 25 years, right? So that gives me a bit of an advantage. So, as I said, under normal circumstances, you would do this in a relational database, right? But we're going to try and simulate it with text files and color wheels, okay? So, basically, point one, it wants multiple drop-down boxes with product configuration. Okay, the first thing is he probably wants it broken up into product types first. So it's going to be, well, the way I'm going to build it is product type. When you click on a product type, it brings up the products in that category. Then when you click on a product, it brings up the data for that product. And you can basically configure it from there, okay? So as I said before, this would normally be done in a relational database. But anyway, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to do it in blueprints, which means that we need a couple of plugins, which I've already got, and they are both free. So you guys could follow along if this is anything that you would want to do. Mainly going to be working with widgets, mainly going to be working with text files, so we're going to be doing a lot of appending and writing and reading and stuff. I've also done this in C++ as well, in a very similar way, but we're going to do it in blueprints. Okay, so let's start. To start off with, I've just did a new level, which is obviously, it's going to be blank basically, because we're going to fill it up with widgets. We could have some sort of a, some sort of logo or something for the company, if it's a company, or, whatever it relates to, right? And we've done our game mode because we're going to use this controller. So I've created a controller, so it can basically, we can load that in on start, we can bring up the widgets, we can read our files, blah blah blah. Now for the maintenance of like the product types, the products, etc., what I would suggest is that we create an editor widget, right? Which will run separately from the actual program itself. But yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. So, first things first, we need to add our plugins. Okay, so just to let you see what I'm going to use for this, I decided to leave it for now and then show you guys which plugins I am going to use. right? So we've got this read write text file, right? Which gives us very, very basic, the most basic, right? It's already installed, but this is it here. If you guys want to see this, this is it here. It doesn't give you much. It gives you read file, delete file, save file. That's all we really need. And that's all we're going to use. Okay? Then we need the color wheel, which hopefully is right. We've got simple color wheel. Again, this is free. Does it work in 5? No. Okay, we're gonna have to bypass that for now, but we'll go with it anyway, and we'll maybe work something out, right? But this is the simple color wheel, which brings up a color wheel. You can click on this and it gives you the RGB values, which you can then do your stuff with, right? I've used this in databasse when I was doing all the widgets for that, and you could pick the colors yourself. So this is the widget I used, or the plugin I used, so that you can pick a color for the different titles and whatever, right? So anyway, we're going to forget that one for now. We might be able to do something with it and upgrade it to Unreal Engine 5, don't know yet, but we'll just work with this anyway. I know that there's a couple of color wheels out there that aren't very expensive, which we can probably get for pretty cheap anyway. So, first things first, let's get ourselves a new folder, right? And we are basically going to say new folder, and it's going to be widgets, right? And we're going to do another one, and we're going to call it let's call it data files, okay? And that's going to be the directory that we're going to place our files in. We're going to need some files, so that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to get our controller open because we're going to need it, right? We're going to get rid of our event tick because we're not going to need that. We're going to use our begin play, so we'll compile that for now. Then we're going to go into this widget and create a widget. We're going to go into widgets, create a widget, right? And it's going to be a user widget, and we're going to call it W, and it's going to be product types, okay? And we build these out as we go, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to do a vertical box, probably. In fact, we're going to do a list, right? So we could do it as a tree view, but that doesn't really take, we could do both versions, right? What we could do, if we work on this a bit further, we could do like a list version and a tree version, so that you can pick either, whichever you want, right? So we're going to pick a list view, okay? And we're going to zoom in. Okay, I've never used that before. It's interesting. So it says no entry widget class. Alright, okay. Right, so I've never used this before, but it makes sense, right? So our widget is actually going to be a single product, right? So we'll see if we do this in two separate ways. Kind of interesting anyway, right? And we'll say we'll say product type individual, right? Now, under normal circumstances, you could actually just do this as a vertical box, right? And then just add them as you know, an individual widget, right? Because I've never used this list view before, it's a little bit different. So, no widget entry class, right? So I'm guessing there's a widget entry class, right? Which is going to be, so there must be some sort of widget entry class thing, right? I don't even know how to do that. Right, so we're not going to use list view then, right? List view can sod off. Might still keep this for now though. Right, so basically what we'll do is we'll create a vertical box. Right, set this up. So that's going to be VB underscore product types. Okay, we set that as a variable. Now, the thing we're going to do here, before we can do anything, we need some data, right? So, we're going to have to go into here. And we're going to have to read the file. Where is it? I don't know where these are. Okay, let's see, file. Alright, and we need to remember where this is. It's not in there, not in there. That's the editor. So we could actually have just did it in the editor, but right, we need to have a look at this again. And see what we've got. Right, so it should be read file. So where the hell is it? Ah, I've not installed, I've not set it as a plugin. Right, text, read write plugin. Neither wonder it wasn't working. Right, we'll save all them. Okay, now we're ready to go. So what we're going to do is, in the first instance, we're going to have to read these files, right? And if the file doesn't exist, we're obviously going to have to create the file, right? So we're going to have to do this without the editor. We're just going to have to basically create a file, okay? But yeah, we'll do that in a second. Once this thing loads up. Get a sip of coffee. How are you guys doing today? How are you, Sunbuster? Cat eats chips. How are you guys? Right. Go on then. Let's go. Okay, now that insinuates that you weren't okay earlier. Right. So we're looking at our product. We're looking at our controller. And what we're going to do is we're basically going to start creating the files. Okay. Yeah, you've normally got to like check tags and stuff. Right. So we've got our controller here, right? And we're going to say read file. Right. We're going to create a variable. And it's going to be, let's call it path. And it's called, we're going to put a name. We're going to compile it. Then we're going to put a path. And it's going to be game slash product slash data files slash product, and I think it's going to be called txt. Right, and that's actually going to be a string, so we'll change that to a string just to keep us all nice and happy. Okay, so we're going to get the path, we're going to go to there. If this is not a success, so we're going to branch off this. Okay. We are gonna save a file. Right, we're just gonna leave it. We're just gonna leave it empty for now. Okay. Sorry about the dog. Not much I can do about it. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do that. Okay. And this, in fact, we're going to say path product type. Okay. Because this is going to be the product type. So that's not going to be products, in fact. That's going to be product type. Then we're going to create another one, right? So we're going to duplicate this. And we're going to call it path product. Okay. And we're just going to make it product. So basically what we're saying here is if we don't have the product types, then we don't have anything. So therefore basically save a file here, and then we're going to basically do this again. Right, so we're going to duplicate that, right, and we're going to basically drag this in, and we're going to do that, right, and then that's going to go there. Okay, so in effect we can basically, what we can do is we can add a breakpoint here and check to make sure that it's actually going to do something. So let's just check. We've got info message, empty text, return value. Right, so this is the actual text itself, right, and this is whether or not it actually loads up, right? So we can press play. There we go, right? So we can step over that and we can step over that. Okay, so we can stop this now. And our question now is if we've loaded this or not. Print screen, what am I doing? Print string. Okay, so we can run it again now and we can check to see if this actually loaded. Right, now the question is, we've got game product data files, which is correct. Game product data files. We might need, well, we can find out, right? Because what we can do is we might need to do that. I would need to go back and have a look at our, right, so let's, right, so those files don't exist, right? And if we run it again, did that print hello there? I didn't notice. Yeah, it did. Okay, we've got our files. Okay. So you'll notice that if we actually open this project, right, we can go to D drive. In fact, it's not in, yeah, it's, right, we can go to Unreal Projects, card deck, content, product. Right, I have no idea where those files have went, but I know they do exist. I wonder if this is like, you can't, it's not allowing you to view hidden or something. Hidden items, it says hidden items there. I shouldn't have closed that, because what we really want to do is we want to find out where those files are, right? And we don't seem to know where these files are. Now I'm not surprised. Yeah, you might be right actually. Although having said that, it shouldn't really be there. Right. It's not there. Right. What I'm thinking is, Right, I think I know what the problem is, right? I think it's basically saving them to the default drive, right? So it could be, these could be anywhere, but rather than look about for them just now, right, I'll find out where it's putting them and then we'll amend it, right? But I don't want to hold us up. The only thing is, we know right, now the interesting thing here would be this info message, because this might actually tell us what, where it is, right? Successfully blah blah blah. Right, it didn't tell us. Yeah, you've normally got a saved games folder, right? But I'm telling it not to go there. That's where a normal save game will go, right? But remember, I'm not saving a game. I am saving a text file, right? Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do a key, right? Now, this is all debugged now. So, but this is just to set it up anyway. We're just going to hit a key, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to create another variable, and it's going to be another string, and it's going to be text to save. Okay. And we are basically going to say, to set this up, we're going to set it, right? And what we're going to do here is we're going to set up a couple of these. So what we're going to say is append, and this is going to be our method for doing this, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say product 1, right? And we're going to make it a comma separated, okay? So we're going to say 1 comma, let's say crisps, right? So that's going to be the name of the product, and that'll actually do us, right? We don't need to make this too complicated. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit shift enter to give us a return, and we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to duplicate that, right? And we're going to say 2, and we're going to say biscuits, and we're not actually going to have the comma at the end, so we're going to remove that pin, right? And we're going to remove that pin, and that's our 2 rows. Okay. And what we're going to do here is we're going to say append. There's really any number of ways you could do this, right? What I would normally expect, if the person would probably give you like the data, So you would basically create the data in a CSV file or whatever way you want to do it, and then we'd do something that loads in that data to start with, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to save file, right? And it's going to be there, then product type is going to be there. So we're going to compile that, and now we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to actually start building our widget, right? So if we go to our widget, we've got the product types, right? So what we'll do in the first instance here is we're going to create a main widget, right? So we're going to say widget underscore main. We'll open that up, and we're going to have a canvas panel, right? And then we're going to wrap that with another canvas panel. Okay, then we're going to full size it and set that to 0 and 0, so we can use this whole thing, right? Then probably what we're going to do is we're going to create a horizontal box, right? Because basically we'll be going chunk, 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 right? So that's going to be product type, product configuration, color, right? Or some kind of variation of that thing, right? And then we're going to have our product types in here, right? And we're going to go into our product types, and we're going to kill that, and we're going to do this individual, right? And we're going to say, first of all, we're going to set up a structure. Okay, so we're going to say struct. Now, if you can imagine, our files, our individual files, are the equivalent of a database table. Okay, our struct is going to be the representation of the columns, the row, or yeah, column names in our database table. Okay, so this is going to store the data from a data table row as a structure, right? And that's going to allow us to give it a identifier where we can then go in and get all the products of that type. Okay, so if you notice before, product number 1 or product type number 1 was crisps, product 2 is biscuits, or for you Americans or Canadians or whatever, it's cookies, right? But anyway, so we're going to do struct product type, and we're going to add one more variable, and that's going to be row number. So that's going to be a row number, which is the actual row that we actually put in the file. So you'll realise when we said 1 in crisps, 2 biscuits, 1 is the row number. Right, now if we wanted to do it as a relational data, we would say PK, right, as that is the primary key. Okay, then we would have product type name, and that is going to be a string. So this is going to be a name, because we're going to be, well, it doesn't actually really matter. It would have mattered if it was a data table, so, but what we'll do is we'll just save that as a string as well, right? Because we're just using a standard text file, so it doesn't actually matter. But anyway, so we're going to go back to our widgets, and we've got W product types. So we'll go back to the designer. We've got our vertical box, right? So we just go to the graph. We're not doing the event pre-construct, that's for sure. We're just doing an event construct, right? And then we're doing our read file. Okay. And will we? I suppose. We're going to do file, path, right, and that was going to be a string. We're going to do an instance editable, expose on spawn. Are we going to do expose on spawn? Actually, probably not. Right, we'll just compile that, right, and we will back to our main, back to our graph. Where's the, it's in here, right? So we can just basically get this, right? We could set these up as global, but I just want some sort of a thing working for now. I mean, we could literally just put it in there, right? But let's keep it right, shall we? So we're going to do file path there, right? So we're going to get this, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to split the string. Okay, we're not going to split the string. We're going to make it an array. Right. Parse into array. Right. So delimiter is going to be a copy, a comma. In fact, what we're going to do is going to do that, and that's going to parse it, right? And then we're going to do for each, and then we're going to parse it again. Right, so we're breaking it into the individual rows, lines of text, and then we're going to split it into the actual values, right? So we're going to do that, we're going to do that, and then we're going to get a copy at position 1. We're going to get our designer, and that's VB product types, so it's the individual product type, right? So this is just going to be a text, right? We are going to expand on it slightly, but for now we'll just do that. Okay. And what we'll actually do is we'll create a variable and we'll call it product type. In fact, what we're going to do is, yeah, and that's going to be the struct product type. Then we're going to instance editable, expose on spawn, compile that, we're going to kill that, we're going to drag this in, this is going to be txt product type. That's going to be a variable because we want to see it, right? There we go. We're going to do get a copy. We're going to do 0, right? Then we're going to say, nah, we don't want to do that actually. I'm going to delete that. What we're going to do is create a widget. And that's going to be the individual product type, right? Then we're going to make this, and that is going to go in there, that is going to go in there, right? We're going to do that. And then in VB types, we're going to add a child. Okay, we're going to do that. Compile that. We're going to have to go back to our product controller, and we're going to say create widget. That's going to go to there, and that's going to be W main. Right, and then we're going to add it to the viewport. Let's see what happens, shall we? Apparently nothing. Okay. Right, so we're going to have to get it here. Designer. We've got this product types. Right, now this canvas panel, we're going to wrap it with a border, right, so that we can basically make it black or white or whatever, right. We need to click on it first. Appearance, brush color, black, okay. And in here we need the code. Delete that. Oh, we need to solve first. Okay. So as you can see, we've got products here, right? Compile that. So let's see what we're getting. Nothing for now. Okay. So let's see if this is running, shall we? It is. We need our debug. Right. Okay. Oh, that's not very good. We've got nothing. What's going on there? I can only... I've not written them yet. I didn't press the 0 button. Right, see this? I haven't pressed this button to save. That's what the problem is, right? Right, so we can run that for now. We've got nothing going on there. If I hit 0, right, that should have actually written the files. Right? So if we step over, it shouldn't be nothing. There you go, crisps and biscuits. How's about that? Crisps and biscuits. And there we go, we've got text block, right? And that's because the individual, we haven't set this up yet, right? But we have got the product type, so we're ready to set up. Okay, so all we need to do now is grab our text. Hang on a second, I'm going to turn the mic off. I think my wife is back, so the dog's going to go mental. Back in a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do is join this up. Then we're going to basically break that. We're not going to need, we can do this later, right? We can add this in if we like. And we're obviously going to have to make changes anyway, because it's going to have to be, this is going to have to be a button, right? So that you can press the button and it's going to basically select the product, and then it's going to basically open up the next level and give you the option to look at the products in that product range, right? So basically you can see we've got crisps and biscuits, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to expand, and I'm going to grab a cigarette. So if you're enjoying the stream, hit like, subscribe, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. So don't go anywhere, guys. Okay, we are back. And the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to get our designer, and actually we're going to get our main, right? And let's wrap this with a border. Right. In fact, let's not. Right, we'll just go into here and we'll actually go into our individual one. Right, we'll go into designer, we'll get that. Darn it. Okay, whatever. Right, what we'll do is we'll pad this. Right. We'll drag this back up into there. We'll take away the border. Right. In fact, we'll pad at 100. Right. So that should work better now. And we can basically take this away now, run it. Right. So we can basically turn these into buttons now, and then we're going to have our second list as the list of products, right? So what we'll do is we'll go back to designer here. We've got our VB products, we want our individual, and we're going to wrap this with a button. Okay. You can see now that we've got our buttons. And now we need another widget, which is going to be products. So we're going to say W product. Actually, let's rename this. We'll call this product list. Should really call this W product types list, but let's not worry about it for now. So we create another widget, and it's going to be W product individual. And now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create we're going to have to see how this looks, right? So we're going to say notepad, and we'll create a look at it, right? So the next thing we're going to have is a 1, a comma. We're going to delimit it exactly the same, right? Now, here's the thing. We're going to have to decide. Let's say it's going to be Walker's S and salt and vinegar, right? But now we're going to have an FK, right, which is going to be 1, right? So we're going to have the row name for this, then the name of the product, and then the FK, which relates to the first table, okay, in our Psuedo database. Okay, so we're going to create another struct, which is going to be struct product. Right, and we're going to have row number, then we're going to have product name, then we're going to have product type FK. Okay, foreign key means that it's the foreign key in the product type, which in the case of crisps is 1. If it was a biscuit, it would be 2. Okay, so these are all going to be strings. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got our W product list, and this is the one we want to do. Again, we're going to have a vertical box, right? And then in our product individual, we're basically going to have text, right? Okay, again, we're going to probably end up wrapping this in a button, but we'll see. Compile that. Depending on if we get any further explanation on what the person wants, basically how they want to configure it, then we can expand on this. But I'm just basically showing you me building pretty much a pseudo relational database, but with text files. You could do it, well, CSV files, right? So first thing we need to do is we need to go to our main, we need to go to our code. Actually, we need to go to our product controller, and we need to create the second file, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say keys, right? That's actually key. And that's number pad 0. Debug key 0. We're going to do something very similar to this. Right? So we're going to duplicate that. Now, if one remembers, we've got 1 comma crisps, but this isn't going to be crisps, right? This is going to be Walker's S and B, right? And we're going to comma that. Then we're going to say 1. Then we're going to return. Right? Then we're going to duplicate that. And we're going to say 2. we're going to say what's it, and it is still 1 here. Okay, so we're going to copy that. Okay, maybe we're not. We're going to delete this and use it as necessary. Right, we're just going to use the save to text again. Right, this shouldn't be key 1. It should just be key 0. What am I doing? It should be key 1. Right. So we're going to remove that. We're going to put that in there. We're going to put that in there. Then we're going to put that in there. Okay. And there we have it. So now if I press this, right, and what I'm going to do is press 1. That's me pressed 1. So we should now have our product. Okay. So now if we go to our product list and go to individual product, right, go to graph, and it's not individual, it's product type. We've got to do the product type individual. Okay. So if we go to here, hi Mr. Spock, right, so we've got the button, right, so we say on clicked, okay, and we go back to main, and basically we now do our product list. Okay, that goes in there. Compile that. And this horizontal box is going to be filled okay, so we've got 1, 2, so product types, we're going to say fill, and we're going to say 0.25, then product list, we're going to say fill, and we're going to say 0.25. Right, so because they're both the same ratio, right, we're going to end up with it's half and half, right? So that's okay. So the thing we need is product type individual, and when we click it, right, are we're probably going to need a couple of interfaces or whatever here, right? Or we're going to have to pass our main, right? So what we could do, just for, this is not how I'd normally do it, but we'll just do it for now, right? So what we'll say is w main, okay, and when we, that shouldn't be event pre-construct, that should be event construct. Right, that should be there. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to set this, we're going to get widget of class. Right, there is only going to be one of these, so what we can say is get a copy of 0 . This is going to be main. That's going to go in there. What? I'm going to delete that. What? Okay, whatever. Right, there's something you've got to do here, which I can't remember what it is. It's right, okay. We'll just drag that in. And we'll just cast it. Normally I'd just pass it on through, but let's not get too upset about it, eh? Right. So when you click on the button, right, we're going to say main and we're going to say we're going to get the product list, and we're going to do the product list, and what we're going to say we're going to create a new custom event. We're going to say update list, and we're going to have an input, and that's going to be product type. Right, it's going to be a string. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is read the file. Okay. And we're going to say we've not got W main. Right. So we're going to say get all actors of class, and that's going to be W main. It's not get all actors, it's get widgets. Get all widgets of class. W main. Promote to variable. Then we're going to get a copy. Going to add the variable again. And we're going to say main. And that is going to be W underscore main. So we're going to set W main. But we're going to cast it. That goes to there. Goes to there. We can do this for the other one as well, right? And what we can do is we can use the paths from W main, right? So what we can do is go main, get main, path. Did I call it path? Alright, so that's product. Ah. Apparently I can't get those strings. That's interesting. It's not in W main. Is it in the controller? Ah, it's in the controller. Okay, it's in the controller, fine. You can do it that way instead then. Right, this is what I'd normally do anyway. I would just say ref controller. Right, in which case we don't need W main, but anyway. And that's going to be prod controller, right? So on event construct, we would just set this, right? And what we'd do is say get player controller cast to prod controller, then that's going to go in there, that's going to go in there. We're going to move all that rubbish out of the way, right, and delete that. Right, give ourselves a bit more space. And that's going to go down there. It's going to go down there. Going to go over there. That's going to go to there. Right. Then all we need to do is get a ref controller and say path product and look in there. Okie dokie. Then in our product individual, right, we're going to need a variable and it's going to be our struct product. Okay, so we're going to say struct compile that. Right, because we're going to pass that in, so we're going to have editable expose on spawn. Compile that. Go back to designer. This is just a text block, so we can go to the graph again. We can grab this. We can get it. Then go to designer. This text block is txt product. Then it's going to be a variable, so we can set it. Go back to our graph. We can go to txt product, get it, set text. Again, we're going to probably end up wrapping this in a button, but we just want to see some visible results. So we're going to break that. And we're just going to say product name, compile that, back to the designer, we're going to product list. So we are basically reading this file, we're getting this, and we're going to parse it. And we know we're going to do this twice, so we may as well duplicate it. The first delimiter is going to be that. The second delimiter is that. No, it's not. It's a comma. Right. This is going to break into a for each loop. It's going to go there. It's going to go there. I'm going to drag that out. Then we're going to basically break that. We're going to do copy. I'm probably going to do copy. Closed it down there by mistake like an idiot. And we can go back to here. That's not what we're doing, is it? Right, so main to product list to product list. Right. Duplicate and duplicate again. It's going to be 1, it's going to be 2. Then we're going to create widget, and that's individual. And we've got our struct here, we make it, and we just plonk these in here. Do that. And we do actually need to get the main here. Right. Because the main has that list on it, right? So we're going to do get widgets of class, w main, copy, then cast, set that to there, set that to there, drag these up a bit, set that to there, compile that, okay. We're going to create widget, right, and we're going to create product individual, okay, which I already did, and then we're going to say main, then we're going to say v b apparently we're not. Right, where's product type? Right. It's VB product types. Right, okay. Product list. VB. Right, this is W product list, right? It'd help if I put a text box in. No, it would help if I put this. VB product. Compile that. Product list graph in here. Remove that. Get that. Add child. Do that. Do that. Compile that. So in product list, we update the list. Right? So the first thing we need to actually do here, right? We've got a couple of things we need to do. First thing we need to do is what am I actually going to do here? We're going to do this slightly differently. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to add an input, right, and we're going to say product, and this is going to be struct product. Okay. So instead of creating this, because we're going to need to cut it down to only the ones that are of the type we need, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back, where were we? That's the product. Did that not, what's going on there? Did that not create the variable for me? Struct product. Right, and that's going to be an array. Okay, so we're going to do something slightly different here. We're going to get this. Right, and then we're going to add unique. Right, now this is going to go here. Okay, maybe it's going to take its time. Okay, it's just going to mess up instead. That's going to go to there, right? Now, after we complete, we're not going to do that, but what we are going to do is, after we complete, we're going to get our product. Then we're going to do a for each, right? Because we need to remove each one. So we're going to break it, right? And we're going to be going by this FK. So if that equals what? We can just do it to, right? Then we're going to be duplicating that. And this. I knew I should have done a reroute node. Right, this. It's going to go here. Then we're going to branch it. That's going to go to there. If it's false, we're going to get this. And we're going to remove item. And that is going to go in there. That is going to go in there. So when it's taken the wrong ones, when it's got the right matching ones, right, then we're going to grab our product again, and we're going to say for each again, and basically with the ones that's left, right, we're going to create the child. Okay, so that is going to create our list of products. Now at the start, when we do update the list, right, we are going to have to get this, and we're basically going to have to clear it. Right, and then we've got one more thing to do here. We've basically got to get this and clear this as well. Okay, so when we click any product, it basically clears. If we click a product type, it clears down the products and then rebuilds it. Okay, so this is going to be like remove clear children. Okay, so we're clearing the array, we're clearing the children. Okay, and now products. Right, we'll find out about that in a minute. So product type individual, when we click on a button, right, we're going to get the parent. We're probably going to need the main here. We've got this here, right? So we've got product list and it's update list, right? So update list. And we're going to be getting the product type. Then we're going to break it. And we're going to get the primary key. Well, let's see what we've got. Right, so we've got crisps, biscuits, right? And if we click crisps, we're getting nothing, which is awesome. So, what we're going to do is we're going to add a breakpoint. Guess what I've not done, guys? I've got to press 1. Right. So there we go, update list. Step into W product list. Update list. Which means that this is nothing, right? Try that again, shall we? Alright. Sort that. Crisps. Step into. Try that again. Nothing. Nothing. Need to try this, huh? Never gets to here. Still up for now. gets there. Right, step over, step over. That's nothing. What? Don't understand that. How can it be nothing? Right, I'll go and investigate that, guys, and we shall call it there. So, hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back in a few hours' time, 4 hours to be precise, and I shall see you then. So, yeah, have a check at the description. Hit the like and subscribe. All the links, Discord, Patreon, previous game on Steam, all that good stuff. And I shall see you later. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye for now.